This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. And I see the Branko is in there too. What's going on, Branko? What's going on, brother? Oh my goodness. I think I'm here with Al.
You're here with me.
I'm here with Al. That's really good news. Happy St. Patrick's Day, man. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Did you guys do anything festive?
Oh no, I'm a quiet person, especially on Sundays.
You didn't hit any parades over the weekend, or drink some green beer, or eat some was it corned beef?
No. Like I said, I'm a quiet person, and the whole drinking and partying thing, I leave that for the younger crowd like you.
I saw a post today that said that St. Patrick's Day is like 420 for alcoholics.
Uh-huh. And I would go with that. Yep.
I don't know, man. It's any back in my big drinking days or whatever. It was pretty much any day that ended in a Y was a drinking day. So
yeah, I can understand. I definitely had my times back when I was young that it didn't take much to coax me into drinking, but
right.
You eventually learn.
I mean, it's not that I don't. It's just I don't do that a lot. It's no judgment at all. It's just I feel so much better.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I was heavy into weightlifting and bodybuilding when I was younger, and that just doesn't go over well when you have a hangover and you're going, okay, I need to go work out. Oh,
you know, when I kind of rationalized it when I was in the Army, man. I was like, if I could, we'd do company. We had PT, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those. If I can make the company run, or the platoon run, or the squad run, or whatever we're doing, hungover, I can smoke it during a PT test, sober.
Oh, jeez.
So that was my rationalization.
Uh-huh.
Look at me now, drinking water.
Well, hello, Mykola. Hello, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Like Kaz said, welcome to Kicking It with Kaz. It's a beautiful day.
Dude, it is a beautiful day. Today, I went outside, and I know you guys are still experiencing that thing they call winter. But it was like like 70 degrees today, so I was out doing yard work, trimming bushes, cutting grass, working on the house. It was a lot of fun. I really, there's something for me, different for everybody else. I think there's something therapeutic about working on the house, and doing. It's not gardening. I'm just trimming bushes and cutting grass and stuff.
Well, yeah,
cutting away all that winter stuff and getting ready for spring.
Well, and hello, Ross. That's just it. With me, right now we're actually getting up into the 40s during the day.
Holy cow! We just had Schofield Barracks just checked in on Mixer. What's going on?
Hey, cool. It's good to hear y'all. No, we got up to 40 degrees today. It's beautiful out. Sun, I opened up the windows so the cats could sit there and baste in the sun. I mean, cats are solar powered,
Oh, I know. Yeah, but cheese is their kryptonite. Did you see that video I sent you?
Yes, I saw that video. Jeez. No, even my outdoor cat, I let her out, and she just, normally she goes, when it's, cold out, she'll go out for about 2 minutes, long enough to sniff the air, and then she's back in the house. She was out for a good hour today. So.
Wow. It's like a heat wave, 40 degrees. How you doing, Holly?
Well, and it is, and that's just it. They say March comes in like a lion, it goes out like a lamb. We're starting to see that. It's looking better.
I think we got some.
I mean,
we got the time in Texas. We have there's that time between, probably late January into late February and then March. That is your threat of winter type weather.
yeah.
And then there's a bunch of then it's tornado season, which ends up being usually from about St. Patrick's Day all the way till Memorial Day, and then it just gets balls hot.
And see, with us, we're getting out of the cold weather, and I mean, starting in March, we had some snow, pretty heavy snow, but now we're getting out of the cold weather, and we're going to see 40s and 50s during the day here in the next week or two. We're still going to see some inclement weather, but it's not going to be like it has been. And we're going to see more better. Usually come mid to late April is when we see it being up in the 50s consistently.
That's good. You start seeing buds on trees, and
exactly.
That's good.
Exactly. And that's when I start going camping in late April, first part of May.
Glamping.
Yeah.
I used to go camping when I was in the Army. We used to just we did it with tents one year, and then we're like, man, that's just too much crap.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice the amount of beer that you bring because you have so much camping shit. So we ended up reducing the number of camping supplies that we had. So we had like hammocks. We brought hammocks. We brought bug spray coolers full of beer and food, and that was about it.
Well, see, that's just it. Is when we go out, my wife and I go out. We go out like starting on Thursday. She's still working, so I go set up the camper, and then she comes out, and then we both, we go back and forth. But the nice part is, it no matter what the weather is, that camper makes it so you don't have to really deal with harshness.
Right. Hey, make sure I'm looking at Not Johnson's Tire. He said he was born and raised in Arlington, Texas. Well, I'm broadcasting tonight from Fort Worth, so small world.
Yeah, there's
small world.
There's always we have a good rounded crowd from all sorts of places, and I see some new faces here and there. Hello, Christina Hope. Nice to see you in here. Hello, Bill Strong. He's talking. He had 80-degree weather.
Damn. Yeah, as soon as it starts hitting 80 degrees, then you're like, I'm going to be in, it's going to be the normal mornings of 30s, 40s to maybe 50s, 60s. And then there'll be those awesome mornings where it's 70s all day long. And then as soon as it starts hitting 80, it's just, nah. Then it just starts turning just hot.
Well, and see, with me, it used to be most weather didn't bother me. Mm-hmm. But with my problems now, if it's too hot or it's too cold, and too hot for me is probably 85 or above.
Wow.
And too cold is somewhere around in the 20s or below.
The thing is, you need to have two houses. You need to have one house. Let me see. Where's a good place for you?
Down there.
Your summer home, either in Texas, Florida, Arizona.
You mean a summer home up where somewhere like here or on the coast? Right,
and then a winter home down on this side of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, you know what? Give me the right lottery numbers. I'll do it.
Hey, do you know anybody in South Carolina that won that $1.5 billion?
I think I could oblige you on that.
All right.
The woman who won October's $1.5 billion Mega Millions jackpot can keep her identity a secret and said she plans on donating to causes that are important to her. You know what? I'm a cause.
I am a cause.
Yes, you are a cause. The winning ticket was sold at a KC Mart in Simpsonville, South Carolina. The winner allowed a fellow customer to cut the line in order to purchase a ticket, but not much else is known about the woman who received a one-time gross payment. Now get this, $878 million, the largest jackpot payout to a single winner ever. Okay,
that is so much money.
Allows its lottery winners to remain anonymous, and the woman wants to keep her identity secret for safety reasons. Her attorney, Jason Kurland, which I would have even kept that secret, said people who win the lottery become an easy target for scams, con artists, and sometimes even friends and family. The winner released a statement regarding her newfound luck. Words can't describe the feeling of such incredible luck, the statement said. I do realize that such good fortune carries a tremendous social responsibility, and it gives me a unique opportunity to assist, support, and contribute to charities and causes that are close to my heart. Charities such as the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Columbia and the Red Cross Alabama's Region's Tornado Relief Fund will receive donations from the lottery winner, the Washington Post reported. South Carolina will collect, get this, $61 million in income taxes from the jackpot. The store that sold the ticket will get a $50,000 bonus.
That's pretty badass. That is such a lot of money. But this person, this female who won, it really to me it seems to me that she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah,
and she's doing it correctly. She's probably set up corporations and trusts for family members. It seems like everything is going her way.
Well, and, she took time to turn it in, so it makes me wonder if she didn't go, okay, I'm going to go to an accountant, I'm going to go to go and really find out what was involved.
Right.
And
she definitely did her homework, and it seems like she's got all of her ducks in a row. I hope she doesn't get complacent. I really hope she does this the right way. She seems. Yeah. I mean, it seems like she's got it.
And Christina points out, people who win the lottery also have to separate from the armed forces.
Yes, they do. Any windfall of money, I think, is if it's a certain percentage, or if they define what a windfall is.
Yes, there are definitions. So that's really interesting. She came forward. She took her time, which, like I said, that tells me she planned herself.
I've often fantasized, and we talk about it at work a lot. When the Powerball gets up that high, and what would you do if you won, $100 million or whatever? It's just like, oh
yeah,
and it's you can almost get wrapped up in it. Then you got to let reality hit you in the face and go, it's probably not going to happen. But I'm happy. I'm happy it does, and I hope that she does good things with it.
That's just it. You hope that stuff like that goes well. For the person's sake, when someone, I've seen a lot. I watch those shows where they, how the lottery changed my life, and some of those people, a lot of them, interestingly enough, have a lot of desperate stories.
A lot of them are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Getting wrapped up with the wrong people or throwing parties for everybody. There's one lottery winner, I think it was in Florida, that just ended up, he was so generous with his money. Mm-hmm. He's now broke. And the house, he's just letting vagrants live in the houses that he bought, and he's given, just everybody everything that he's got. He just had no idea how much cash he had, I guess.
Well, and that's just it. A lot of people, they sit there and say, well, it's only this much, so I went and invested, and their investments were so bad, mm-hmm. they lost them. They tried to say, well, I couldn't live off this, the rest of my life, so I had to invest. And they invested with heart rather than looking at true financial soundness.
And that goes both ways too, because 2 weeks ago I mentioned I did a story on the guy, I think it was in Georgia, who won the lottery, but he ended up getting 10 copies of the ticket that he bought instead of 5, so he doubled his money.
Yeah.
So there was a mistake there, a happy mistake. It was a good mistake. But during that story, the state of I talked about it. There was an update to the South Carolina thing, this $1.5 billion, and the state of South Carolina actually budgeted to have that, was it $61 million in tax revenue. They had to revamp their budget to not have that $61 million.
And thank goodness the person did finally come forward.
Right. I mean, it's not, that's probably a fraction of a percent of the estate's income, but still, $61 million is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and sometimes people don't realize, states' budgets are kind of fragile. In that respect.
Yeah, you're one natural disaster away from just ruin as far as a state goes. Especially in South Carolina, these hurricane. You can budget for a hurricane, but you don't even know it might be a Category 1 or it could be a Category 4. Yeah. That's a difference between $1 million in damage and $10 billion in damage. Exactly,
and especially the coast states, they have to worry about that all the time. When you're not in the coast and you're, say, Midwest, it's kind of predictable. There's only a couple things you have to worry about, but most of it's predictable. You're going to get snowstorms.
Right. It's going to get cold.
Uh-huh. The only thing you really have to worry about is the whole tornado, if you're in Tornado Alley.
We had, when I was living in Ohio back in 2010-11 time frame, we had a pretty brutal winter. And the state, up in the northern half of the state where we got a bunch of the snow and the ice, they ran out of treatment for the roads.
Oh.
They were importing treatment for the roads. We didn't have any salt. There was no sand left.
Mm-hmm.
Available. Of course, there's sand on the beach of Lake Erie. But that was, they had some guy came up with some formulation for beet juice and something or other that they ended up using. It was crazy, man. It's just, you never know what Mother Nature's going to throw at you.
Exactly. And that's just it. And they try to, all the states try to put money away or account for that. And they just, you can only do so much, unfortunately.
Right. All right, let's go on to the next story. I kind of like this story because it hits close to home, I think. Well, I know it hits close to home. So Hollywood can be very alluring, as the fame and the money are something few would turn down, but the lack of privacy and constant public scrutiny can grow tiring. One actress, pictured here, has decided that it's not a lifestyle that she wants any longer. Instead of living off of her previous accomplishments, she has decided to enlist in the United States Army. How about that? Someone from Hollywood, that little girl right there is going into the Army.
Well, it used to be that you got a lot of people in Hollywood coming into the military.
Actress Carly Schroeder, she's now 28 years old, who is best known for her role in Disney Channel's Lizzie McGuire show, has decided to leave life of glitz and glamour for the uniform. I've been considering it for a long while, and this is a big choice, but thankfully my parents and my little brother were very supportive of me. My dad was actually in the Army as a Green Beret medic, and my little brother Hunter is in the Marines now. Schroeder wants to go into military intelligence after she completes officer candidate school. She plans to build upon her future Army career by using the skills she learns in the Army to combat human trafficking. On a more tangible micro level, there is human trafficking occurring within the United States. I've written papers, I've spread awareness, and as an Army officer, I intend to learn skills I can later apply when I'm on a team helping these victims. Schroeder had posted a plethora of videos on Instagram of her participating in various military training exercises. She acknowledges her love for acting, but decided that she wants to do something more fulfilling. Miss Schroeder went through MEPS in January, and she scored a 92 on the ASVAB. Serving my country will give my voice more validity, Schroeder said. I can better serve and advocate for veterans once I am a part of their community. The military is family, and family always has each other's back.
Interesting.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, it is.
So I told my daughter about her, and he's like, "Wow." She's like, "Wow, that's really cool." my daughter's going. My daughter's going through the same.
I was going to say, your daughter's going through that.
Yeah, she's doing the same thing. So
not a proud pop at all.
No, I'm not a proud. Dude, I get goosebumps. I got to take her. That's why I didn't do a show last week, is I had to run her into Dallas and then go to the MEPS station. You know how when you go to MEPS, they put you in a hotel, then they wake you up at 4:00 in the damn morning and bus you to MEPS, and you go through all the medical exams and you take the ASVAB. She did all of that. They usually split it up. Excuse me. They usually split it up into a couple of days. Mm-hmm. She compressed it into one. So she did all of this. Oh, hold on. Goodness. Oh, excuse me. She did this all in one day.
Okay.
So all the medical stuff. She took her ASVAB, and then she did her swearing in late in the afternoon. She swore in Monday. I was supposed to be there at 4:00. It happened probably about 4:30 or 5.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was a small group. There was only 8 total people in the room.
Really? That's not many.
It's not many, considering she went there and there were like 2 busloads of people.
Yeah. Well, like you said, they were splitting things up. They normally split it up, so she may have just been pushing because, well, she had to get back to classes.
Well, she was, yeah. Well, yeah, she had to compress everything, because she's going to complete this semester in college, and then she's going to go and do basic training.
Okay.
And she's going to come back from basic training, have a couple of weeks off to recoup and eat some good food. And she's got to move into the dorm at the university. She got a sweet deal, man. I've spent a while talking to her recruiter, and he got her a really good deal. There was always this question of funding. College costs money, dude. There's no two ways to look at that. So we looked at scholarship. She's got great grades.
Yeah.
But for certain reasons, she doesn't qualify. She doesn't qualify for a lot of financial assistance. It's like $1,000 here, or $2,000 there, or whatever. But it doesn't really make it helps, but it doesn't make a big dent in things, considering that you're looking at $20,000-$30,000 a year for college.
Ouch.
With
that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, with everything, and there's no reason for her to go into debt like that. And she, she was going to go into the Army anyway, so she's just like, well, screw it. She'll just enlist now.
Yeah. And
then when she enlists, after she enlisted, there's so much more benefit for that. She's going into the National Guard, but she's getting all kinds. Her tuition now is no cost.
Well, that's good.
There's still going to be costs involved.
Oh yes.
But she gets. Her and this is what her recruiter said. Any college in Texas. I'm like, what? She can go to like Baylor or TCU. TCU's right up the street here. She goes to University of Texas at Arlington.
Yeah.
And but right down the street here is Texas Christian University. Fantastic university.
Oh yes.
And he's like,
wow.
Yeah. He's like, any school. I'm like, Baylor. If she wants to go down to Waco and go to Baylor, she can do that. He's like, yep. Texas A&M? He goes, yep. Rice? Yep. I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
That's excellent.
So we're bouncing between. I say we. She's bouncing between TCU and just staying at UTA. The curriculum is identical.
Okay.
The dorms are nicer, of course, at TCU. It's just there's a lot to consider. But she rock and rolled the freaking ASVAB test.
That's great.
Dude, kicked my ass. Really kicked my ass. She scored a 97 on the ASVAB.
Again, not proud of her at all, huh?
I mean, with a max of 99. So she did. Only 3% have done better.
Wow, that's great.
That's awesome, and it's really good because it opens the door. It opens several doors. She can do anything she wants.
Which is what every father or every mother wants to see their children do.
Very happy for her. Yeah.
Jeez.
But and I was looking, after she said, "Dad, I got a 97," she said, "I did really, really well. I did a 97. I guess that's really good." And I'm like, "Okay, what? How many points are available?" And she goes, 99. I'm like, "Well, yeah." So I looked because we had to calculate her GT score out of that because GT is a part of what real job are you going to be qualified for.
Yeah. So
you put it into a formula and then you carry the one and that ends up being a GT score. Certain jobs rely on electrical. Other jobs look more at automotive or mechanics.
Yeah.
So we looked at all that cool stuff, but Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard all have different standards for what's the minimum GT score to get into those services.
Yes.
So you want to? Well, I guess I'll just tell you. Let me see the Army and the National Guard. The minimum score, which is your aggregate, I don't even know what score it is. It's that out of 99, the minimum score that you need to achieve to be in the Army is 31. If you have a high school diploma, the minimum score to get in the Army is 31. If you have a GED, you have to get a 50 or above.
Wow. Interesting.
Our fellow crayon eaters, the minimum score to be a Marine is 32. If you have a high school diploma, if you have a GED, you have to score a 50.
I wonder what reason the difference.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not. It's whoever sets the requirements. Let's see. Navy, 35. Yeah. You have to score a 35 on the ASVAB and 50 again if you are a GED. If you've earned a GED. Now the Air Force. Everyone thinks Air Force. Yeah, they're all that. Well, they kind of are because you got to have a 36 to be in the Air Force minimum. And if you have a GED, you have to score a 65. And that brings us to the Coast Guard. In order to be in the Coast Guard, you have to score a 40 or above if you have a high school diploma. So the Coast Guard has the highest standard to get in.
If you have a diploma.
If you have a diploma. And then Air Force has got the highest standard if you have a GED.
Yes. Well, I'm just happy that things have gone so well, and I really like the fact that an actor is speaking up and showing that she wants to serve her country.
Yeah,
That's
look up Carly Schroeder on Instagram. She has a lot of really pretty cool videos, man. Of course, she's very photogenic, and she has a lot of those photos there too. But she's no slouch, dude. She's no slouch at all.
Well, it's good to see that we have role models evolving and coming out.
Well, remember, like I'm back in World War II, and even in the Korean War, a lot of the films were pro America.
Oh yeah,
joining the army, defend the country, join the Navy, blah blah blah. It's not like that anymore.
Exactly.
It's almost frowned upon to be patriotic in Hollywood. It's a death sentence.
Yeah. It's a death sentence to your career. Yeah. And that's kind of what that's the reason it's so interesting to see someone who, she's young. She could still have a very long, good career if she wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Combo. It was Pat Tillman. Pat Tillman was he was a professional football player. A number of professional football players have quit the NFL to go to the military. Pat Tillman did go, and he did become a Ranger. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that make an effort. And there are people that actually want to be a part. And like you said, it used to be the thing where Hollywood, and that's mainly because a lot of their actors had gotten out of the military. I mean, I remember seeing lists of who, in Hollywood had served. And, there was a lot of people.
I read a story that Humphrey Bogart, way back in the day, used to play chess a lot. That was how he decompressed and how he relaxed.
Yeah.
So he would be on the set, and he would always have someone there. He'd have a chess table and someone to play chess with. He also played chess with a lot of service members who were serving overseas, and he would do this through telephone calls. And the government, I think the FBI got a hold of him, and they thought that he was passing codes. He was investigated, and the FBI thought he was passing codes to the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Well, Hollywood and the government have a long history of going back and forth.
Right.
Excuse me. They've recruited numerous actors to actually become spies for them, especially during World War II.
Yeah.
I see you have a poll.
Oh yeah. These are all St. Patrick's Day related poll questions. What nationality was St. Patrick? Was he Irish, Scottish, British, or Persian?
Interesting. Yeah, you seem to have touched on a chord when we talked about the liberal Hollywood.
Yeah, I hate that. Trust me, folks, it's okay to be a proud American.
It is great to be a proud American,
yes,
and we're going to make it great to even to push it out there.
Absolutely.
And, well, why don't we move on to another story?
Sure.
And this involves money, of course. A New York man received a Con Edison monthly bill of nearly, and here we go, $38 million for his 600 square foot apartment. The man identified as Tommy Schwab tweeted at Con Edison, "Hey, at Con Edison, I own a 600 square foot apartment in Astoria, Queens. I do not own the entirety of Manhattan Island. This is insane. Fix it." He included a screenshot of the $37,974,401.35 bill. A return tweet came back stating, "Our customer ops team is looking into it and will definitely work on it." A Con Edison spokesperson said that it was most likely a computer error. Gee, go figure, right?
Dude, that's just crazy. Because if you look at that, there's also a processing fee of $3.35 added to that.
Gee.
Did you see that on the bottom right above the total?
Yeah.
With a $3.35 fee.
In related news, a New York grandmother said she has been receiving steep power bills that bear her address but specify they are for a utility pole outside her home. Maria Sprizzo said she first received a $5,000 Con Edison bill for the Charter communications pole outside her home after a year and a half ago, or about a year and a half ago, excuse me. She said the first bill had her name and address, which subsequent bills only had her address and the word pole. Jeez. Sprizzo said she sent the bill back to Con Edison and tried contacting the company, but the bills kept coming. Con Edison said Sprizzo's power was not in danger of being shut off, and she would not be held responsible for the outstanding amount. The matter has been resolved, the company said in a statement. Jeez.
And just, dude, and just looking at this, I'm just like, man, these two are not the only two billing irregularities from Con Edison in New York, in that area. There's lots of them. These are the two of the most egregious ones.
Yeah. You know, it'd be funny to say, okay, everybody, we're making a Facebook site. Send in the bills.
Since that wasn't her normal electric bill, had I been Maria Sprizzo, I would have not done anything.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do? I mean, her electricity wasn't in jeopardy of being turned off, but
no.
Charter was fixing to be delinquent. You know, and she jumped on the ball right away. She didn't just, and that's why I don't do automatic draft for bills.
Yeah.
I want to see every bill that I get every month.
You and me both.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, let's go paperless. Just go ahead and have them pull the money out." And I sit there and go, "You know what? I have caught so many times when they did something wrong."
And maybe it's just paranoia for me. I like to have control. And whenever, I mean, on my phone, I get an alert anytime anything over 1 penny gets taken out of my checking account. I have, and same with anything charged to any credit card.
Yeah,
I get alerts. Any money that leaves my account, I get alerts for. And I've caught, fraudulent activity quite a few times.
Really?
Yeah. And it's just, it'll be like a random, just a somewhere close to where I'm living, but it'll be like at Ross or at Bed Bath & Beyond. There's a 35-cent charge. And I'm like, huh. And then minutes later, there'll be a charge for like $400.
Yep.
It's like a one swipe just to see if it works. And then, okay, it works. I'm going to get something big. And it's usually, here, I want to buy and it's usually gift cards.
And see,
they'll buy $500 in gift cards and they'll sell them off for like $200.
Yeah. I've only had my identity stolen once. And I was quick, my bank was really quick to bring it to my attention, which I was very happy about. I'm pretty good at keeping my identity safe. Have you seen those security credit cards that actually go on either side of your credit card, and they actually block anybody from grabbing your signal from your credit card?
Well, it's a passive device. It's got to be interrogated, and then it kind of reacts like a transponder. You send it a code, and it sends something back.
But that's the idea: is these actually block that.
Yeah, you can buy wallets now that are lined with whatever.
I had one of those, and they just weren't as comfortable as my regular wallet. So I went out and got these little security cards that block any kind of activity. So 6 1 half dozen the other,
right.
But it's always smart to do. So no, I've been lucky enough so far, knock on wood. I've only had it happen to me once.
I had my identity stolen once, but it was a big freaking deal. It was a big freaking deal. I was right in the middle of, I had 2 kids, one infant. One of them was an infant. I was in the middle of buying a house. Mm-hmm. And our insurance, the insurance that I had, my insurance number was my Social Security number. I was 01. My wife at the time was 02. And my kids were 03 and 04.
Yeah.
But it was all my Social Security number. I started getting, I got 2 Best Buy credit cards in the mail.
Ooh.
And I'm like, I never applied for these. And, just a congratulations, here's your card. One of them had like it was two cards, separate accounts for $5,000.
Yikes.
One was charged up to like $4,900, and the other one was charged up to $4,800. I'm like, oh, I got to get on this. And then the next day I got one from Sam's Club. Thank you for joining Sam's Club. And that came with a credit card that was like a $12,000 limit. It was charged up to like $11,800. Then there was a Home Depot credit card that was charged all the way up to the max. It was like $15,000. So I'm like, oh God, So I of course put a halt, and this all happened like in the span of a day and a half.
Oh, I would have been pulling my hair out.
Yeah. So, and I'm sitting here going through the little rectal exam with underwriting to get financing for the house that I was looking at. So I'm like, man, this is bad. I can like not get a house now because of this.
Yeah.
But I ended up taking care of it immediately, and a hold was put on my credit. All of these things, I filed fraud reports and called the police, and everything got cleared up. It basically disappeared in a matter of about a week. Nothing ever. Had I let it ride, these things would have shown up on my credit card, and then they would have been shown as being disputed and then canceled.
Yeah.
But that would still be on your credit report.
Yes. And that's just it. Even if you don't hit it quickly, if you don't get on these things quickly, even if they do get taken care of, it can show up on your credit and actually hurt your credit.
Now, credit card's one thing, but like when that stuff comes out of my checking account, if you're a paycheck to paycheck kind of person, this is that one charge. We had just done a show, and it was just after 10. It was like 10:20. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and my phone goes off for that 35-cent charge, and then again for like $400.
Huh.
I'm like, this is bad. So I spent the next hour on the phone with the bank. They, cleared up things immediately, but still, it was time out of my schedule. I had to take time out of my life to deal with this thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea if they caught the guy or not. I wasn't liable for that money, but then again, I don't need money to be flying out of my checking account.
Exactly. It's one thing to go after credit cards, another if they go after your debit.
Right. Yeah, I don't put my debit card out there.
No.
If I don't have to.
Because credit card, okay, while I'm trying to figure it out and get it all taken care of, okay, so I don't have access to my credit card. I don't care about that. I need access to my checking account.
Yeah, see, I got a credit card that I haven't charged anything 4 years.
Wow.
I'm just, divorces are kind of spendy.
Yeah.
So still paying that off. But that's fine. The good thing is, see, I got one and a third student loan payments, and then I'm done.
Wow.
So I get to pay my a regular payment this month, and then a third of a payment in the month of April, and then I'm finished with my student loan.
Congratulations.
Took me 18 years to pay that bitch off. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's 18 years to pay that off, and I had a year of forbearance in there, so I could have done it. I probably could have done it a lot sooner than I did, but
yeah,
situations change. Life happens.
Well, I'm glad that that's happening. I mean, gee, you can go out and get yourself a beer now.
Maybe get a better computer. Oh, shit, dude, I'm putting windows on the house. I had no idea. Because you walk up and down the aisle and you look at the windows and you're like, oh, okay, these are like, $300-$400 a piece. Mm-hmm. Do the math, add in some labor, and you can estimate, okay, it'll cost about this much. That's not true. I had 4 companies come through my house. Most expensive was the total was $30,000 just to put in
now,
windows.
tell us how many windows.
These were badass windows. Oh, six windows.
Yeah. To me, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. These are badass windows, though. These are really nice windows. But then the lowest bid I got was like $2,500.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, these are garbage.
Uh-huh. Jeez.
So anyway, I pulled the trigger on that, so I'm getting some windows installed at some point. They're being made now, and then probably within the month.
Very
I
nice.
get that, and then I got some new kitchen stuff coming next week. It's going to be, the house is coming together.
You're enjoying the fact that student loan's going to be done soon.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to help. Definitely going to help.
And then comes the computer.
At some point. At some point, yes. And I'm 20% disabled, but when I ETS'd, I had I had a separation bonus. So and then like a couple of years ago, I went and got a disability rating from the VA. So now they're like, okay, yeah, here's you're 20% disabled. Awesome. They're like, okay, you need to pay back your separation bonus. So that'll be done in like 16 months.
Jeez. Well, if it's not one thing, it's another, right?
Right. So I think maybe I'll get a car or something in 16 months.
You sound about as bad as me.
My car is fine. It's just, it's old, got almost 200,000 miles on it. It's time for me to get a new car.
Are you running the high mileage oil in your car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take care of it. I mean, I get, oil changes every several thousand miles, every 5,000 or so.
Yeah.
I take care of the car, but still,
well,
it's got a lot of, it's got, its shoes are old.
If anything, you need to put the at least get your air conditioner working.
I do. I've got all the parts. I just need the time. That's not a joke. Seriously, I haven't had an air conditioner in that car in 2-3 years. I've got the parts.
That's what you've said.
Yeah. And even at the end of last summer, I'm like, okay, the temperature's cooling down. I can go put the air conditioner in my car, and then it's just, one thing happens and another thing happens, and
it's almost time. If you don't put it in before this summer, you're going to be suffering again.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about doing is just biting the bullet and giving it. There's a mechanic I found in town that'll use my parts and put it in for me, and that's all I really need.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you have to actually unbolt the engine and either lift it up or set it down. Not set it down, but just lower it a little bit to get the belt on.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It's a Honda CR-V.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's a tight engine.
It is. It's pretty tight in there.
Jeez. Yeah, go get. We don't need to hear. Yeah, Kaz ain't gonna be doing a show because he unbolted the engine and it came down on him.
He dropped the engine.
He dropped the engine.
I mean, I was prepared to do the work. It's not that I can't do it. I just, when you look at the manual, you're like, okay, this should take a total of 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give myself 2 or 3 days because shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes according to plan. Murphy works a lot more overtime than I do.
Exactly. I mean, I built my own computer and I got pretty far, but it's like that last 1 or 2 things, and I'm just sitting there going, I'm done.
Computers are a little easier. You don't have to drive your computer to work.
No, that's true. But at the same time, computers are very, very fussy. And if you're by the time you get to that last couple things and your hands are shaking because you just too much pain, it ain't worth it at that point.
Yeah, my daughter's going to basic training, and maybe while she's at basic training, I'll do that, because if something goes south, I'll have her car as a backup. I mean, I'm paying insurance on it. I'm on it, so.
Well, why don't you just take it to that mechanic? Then you don't have to worry about it.
I know, but then that's like $1,000 I don't want to spend. Is my time worth $1,000?
Everybody, this is what happens when you get old like us. We debate that. Is it worth it?
So I just published the results for that trivia question. What nationality was St. Patrick? St. Patrick was actually British.
Really?
Yes.
And very few, 13% guessed that.
Yep. He was British. And I threw in Persian just to have an outlier in there.
Yeah. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, you better start remembering it. You got spring, you got summer coming. You better watch out for the heat.
I've been doing it for 3 years, and that's my justification. I've been air conditioned for. I work in a very tightly climate controlled area, so that doesn't bother me. I'm not working the flight line anymore. I'm in a lab, so everything's 70 degrees at any time during the year.
Nice. Well, hello, Bailey. It's good to see you, too.
Bailey.
Another one of our regulars.
So I think we're going to take a break. I'm going to take a break a little bit early, I suppose.
Okay.
I think that's allowed. It's my show, right?
It's your show.
So I'll publish that little trivia question. St. Patrick's Day is a day symbolizing what? St. Patrick's birth, his first Irish car bomb, St. Patrick's death, or that other thing. I can't read that last one.
History of driving the snakes out of Ireland.
That's it.
So something to chime in on during the break.
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. All right, we're gonna take a break real quick. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hang tight.
This is Eric Stolansky.
Shots.
WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio.
Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine? No, but I do it anyway because it's sterile and I like the taste.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, man. What's going on, everybody? It got really low in my ear for some reason.
Huh.
Welcome back, everybody. This is part 2 of Kicking It with Kaz here on WTF Nation Radio. I'm here with Mr. Owl.
Hello.
And today's St. Patrick's Day, the 17th day of March, 2019. I hope everyone's doing all right. I'm doing all right. Got some.
Hopefully nobody got too drunk.
No, not me. I work my ass off in the yard, though.
Yeah, I'm surprised you aren't drinking Gatorade right now.
I got water. I got some water. I do. Hold on a minute. I do have some Gatorade as well. It's the grape. Grape stuff? What is it, grape? It is grape something. Yeah, just plain grape. They have another grape that's like a... it's an impersonation of grape, and it sucks.
See, I like Cherry Glacier.
Cherry's not bad. So here we are. Time to kill the
In
bed.
our second hour.
It is the second hour already. The first hour kind of went by a little quickly. I kind of ran out of stories. I've got a bunch of monitors here, and I'm looking at things that I've got to talk about, and I've got a like a little flow chart of how things I would like them to go, and they don't always match that. And if I had moved forward and told like 2 other stories, then I would have run out of stories at the end of the show. So had to fake it a little bit.
Bring in some conversation.
Right. Glad to see everybody here, man. There's a bunch of folks here.
Yeah.
So we got, we over the last couple of shows, I've talked about the recurrence of measles and there's cases of mumps, there's cases of rubella, there's a polio type virus that has it mimics polio. It's not polio per se by definition, but it's making a stand over it's the East Coast. I want to say it's in Pennsylvania or someplace over there. There is actually a naval ship that is quarantined, has been quarantined for a couple of months now.
You saw? Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not good.
It's not. I mean, what is that?
They are vaccinated.
They're vaccinated, and I'm like, okay. Well, it's not. What did they say? It was mumps. It mimicked mumps.
Yes.
But it wasn't mumps, but it was like mumps. Everyone is vaccinated against mumps, so I wonder what it is.
And I know we go back and forth with the whole vaccination thing, and I'll go, there you have to be mindful of that, but I'll go back to what I always say. The more you bring people in from countries and you don't quarantine them and you don't insist that they get vaccinated, the more you're going to get this.
You're going to get some funny stuff.
Yeah. You're going to get stuff that didn't come, that this country's never seen, that's a mutation or a like but not the same of something that we've seen, but it's from a different country and it's been down in where they're from, and it's mutated into something different. So no, I've had my problems with the whole refugee thing.
I think that does play a part. I don't think it's completely responsible, but
no.
I definitely think it does play a part. So there's the answer to that. The pre-break poll. St. Patrick's Day is a day that symbolizes what about St. Patrick? His birth, his first Irish car bomb, his death, or the anniversary of driving the snakes out of. I was going to say Ireland. The correct answer is his death. It commemorates his death.
Very good.
He died in I think you were still in high school then, but he died in gosh, 464 AD.
Wow, that's a long time ago. You were just in training
I was
hands.
yeah, exactly. I was still in diapers back then.
Oh,
But anyway, we were talking about immunizations. Immunizations.
Yeah.
Get your shots, everybody. Because now this is a story out of Dallas, the Dallas area, but it is nationwide. It is happening nationwide. The spread of once eradicated highly contagious diseases in some North Texas and some North Texas pediatricians are now refusing to treat unvaccinated patients. The number of measles cases in Texas continues to rise. Currently, we're at 11 confirmed cases. Doctors find the growing number of measles cases alarming. Dallas pediatrician Dr. Albert Karam knows firsthand how devastating measles can be. He had it at 5 years old. He had high fever, extreme sensitivity to light, which is known as photophobia, which I had, and I could remember screaming and crying as the lights were turned on. Karam is helping lead a charge of pediatricians taking a hard stand on requiring patients to receive vaccines. His policy has been in effect since he started practicing in 1986.
wow.
So this isn't a new thing. This is just his policy.
Yeah.
He says, quote, I cannot afford to have children in my office who have contagious diseases who will affect children who are regular patients of mine. Karam is particularly concerned about exposing children that are too young to be vaccinated to the highly contagious diseases, like 6-month-old Charlotte Dunklin. It's incredibly scary. There are some vaccines that she can't get at this age, said her mom. Karam said his policy is also meant to protect other children who may have a medical condition that prevents them from receiving vaccines. I have an obligation and a duty to protect those children first, Karam said. I know there's controversy regarding that. As pediatricians, we do have a duty to see all patients and such. But again, I feel a strong obligation to protect those kids who are already in my practice. Texas is one of 18 states that allow patients to opt out of vaccinations for non-medical reasons. Health officials say that the latest case is an adult who had traveled overseas.
Of course.
Dunklin said that she's grateful for Karam's policy and feels reassured that baby Charlotte won't be in more risk of catching a potentially deadly disease at a simple doctor's visit. And it's crazy because I remember taking my girls to the doctor, and it would seem as though they're doing the right thing because they have a well baby entrance and then a sick baby entrance. The thing is, you're all sitting in the same freaking waiting room.
And that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
You know, even though I didn't like necessarily as many vaccines that were required, at least with the military, it was required. You couldn't opt out. That was not a choice back when I was in.
No, we had there were certain shots that you can opt out of, but to be deployable, you had to get freaking everything. Mm-hmm. And in order to just not be that guy, you just take it all, just whatever.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I'm talking for family. For soldiers, back when I was in, there was no opting out of anything. You got those shots, period. And you weren't given a choice.
I always kept copies of my shot records. You know, there were 2 copies. There was one that was in my medical record, and then there was one that stayed with me. Every time I got a shot, they stamped my medical records, and I said, stamp this book too.
Oh, yeah.
Because we would always have, you know, we'd do EDRES a lot,
Oh, yes.
emergency readiness deployment exercises, where you go through the medical stage, and they're like, okay, you need this shot, that shot, and this other shot, one of which was always typhoid. But I would get... or it would almost be like they were doubling up on the flu shot. I'm like, no. Here's my shot record. I've already had the flu shot this year.
And that's just it, is when you're going through that, they can't take chances.
They can't. And it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do because you don't need an infected person, you know, fighting next to you.
No. And you also don't know what you're going to run into, because when you're over there, you hear me talk about, okay, refugees coming up here and not being quarantined and such. Well, you're going to where those refugees are. In other words, those are the guys you're fighting. And those guys, a lot of them, they don't get any kind of vaccinations. They don't have, there's a good chance that they have something or are, easily have just been exposed to something. You just don't know. They can't take those chances, especially since you're going to a different country. Those different countries, each country has their own problems, and we have to bring and vaccinate for their country.
And it's regional as well. I mean, when I went back over when I went to Iraq, I went as a civilian. I was a contractor, but I had to go through Fort Benning and go through all of it was like an EDRI.
Yeah.
For everybody, and they look at your medical records and they decide, okay, you need this shot, that shot, and that shot. I had to get another smallpox, which was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, man, I've already done this. And they're like, no, they're only good for like 10 years. So, they lanced my arm, and sure enough, we got the little blister. So I've got 2 of those on my arm.
Jeez, that's horrible.
Of course they loaded me up with everything. I didn't even count the amount of shots that I got. I'm just like, whatever. Because I was looking at the big dollar signs for being a contractor in a conflict zone.
Yeah, exactly. And see, with me, I'm one of those people that, because of my immune system, I actually have to be careful. When they up until just recently were telling me that I can't even take a flu shot, a flu vaccine. I can't take those things.
Yeah, but you're a shaman. All you have to do is eat granola, and then do some what do they call it? Not chants, but what do they call them? Not incantations. I'm trying to give you a hard time, and I don't have the words to do it. I apologize.
Darn. But that's okay. I can laugh at that. No, I have worked very hard to get an immune system back to where they're now saying, next year you could get the flu shot if you want to. I'm like, good. I'm glad I could.
I'm glad. Thank you for that choice.
Yes.
So to finish up my story, the mother said, there's nothing more heartbreaking than not being able to protect your child against something because of someone else's ignorance. Dr. Karam insists that vaccines are safe, and that he says that parents are now starting to ask about his policy when choosing a doctor, wanting to make sure that unvaccinated children are not treated there. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn between that, but I agree that he's got his own practice. It's a private practice. Yes. It's a private business. Doctors do take the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm and to render help whenever they can. But I do understand and I do accept the fact that he does have that policy for his office. That doesn't mean that he doesn't go out and treat people that are not vaccinated by giving them vaccines or treating whatever if they have smallpox or something. It's just it's really dangerous to allow unvaccinated patients into your office.
Yes, and especially during these times. Yes, yeah. I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
But what does he do? Does he call them up and say, okay, I'm going to meet you down at the post office, and I'm going to immunize your kids, and then in 2 weeks you can be one of my patients?
Well, if someone's saying, I want to, I want to be, and normally vaccinations, they start early. So you've got those rounds going through. And if you sit there and say, well, I'm going through my vaccinations and so on and so forth, then you're putting forth the effort. What he's looking for is the person who is going, well, I'm going to opt out.
I've got a copy. Oh, my gosh. This is really so unprofessional. I've got a copy of my first shot record.
Your military shot record?
No, my baby shot record.
Oh. Isn't that on stone tablet?
It is. You'd think that I wouldn't lose it because it's so huge. I've got
There
it
he
in
is,
there. I was-
lady. He is this organized. Come on, we have not been seeing the applications coming in like we should.
Okay. Get that guy. Get that stone tablet back in there. All right, there we go. Here, it's my first shot record. I had my address on there. My date of birth, I was 6 pounds 7 ounces.
Wow.
My daughter.
You were a little guy.
Yeah, my daughters. Both of my daughters were big.
Huh.
But let's see, May. I was born in May, so June, July, August. So in August, I had diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis shots. Let me see. I also had polio. A polio shot when I was 3 months old. What else? I had smallpox when I was 2. I had smallpox the smallpox inoculation at 2. Tuberculosis. I had a TB test several times. And then there's some other. It says other. It says measles and rubella.
Wow.
Another measles when I was 1. I was 1. And then something I can't read what that says. And then another mumps vaccine. Damn, I had a measles and rubella at let's see, July of 71, and then a mumps vaccine 5 months later. Yeah, I got a that's a historical document right there.
Yeah, that dates back into the old 10 Commandments on the tablets time, right?
Right. I think one of the doctors treated Jesus. I can't read the signature though. It's really hard. You can't even read that. I can't read that. Come on.
No. And mom says, imagine having a shitty immune system and worrying about people not vaccinating their children.
Yeah. There's a Facebook page. It's an anti-vax site.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, I only date women that are, or I only, it's pretty crude. It's like, I only knock up anti-vax women because 8 months of child support is a lot cheaper than 18 years.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's horrible. No, Mom, I actually did. When I was at my worst, I had to worry about my wife bringing stuff home. I had to worry about my son bringing stuff home.
Oh, dude, any kid in a school they're going to school in a petri dish, and they're going to come home with something, and they're going to spread it to the family. I see it at work all the time.
Well, and that's what I used to have to sit there and say is tell my son, when you come home, don't take it personal, but if I hear coughing or if I hear anything, I really can't get near you. And it's my immune system at that point was so bad I catch a cold and it turned into pneumonia within a week.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that.
And even as a parent, I got my daughter here, and earlier today, I'm preparing for the show, and then I hear her coughing from across the house. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? She's like, I'm coughing, Dad. It's fine.
Well, and especially since she's had problems with the whole bronchitis thing.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was definitely a weird one because she recovered from bronchitis and then she was sick after that.
Oh,
it was like a 24-hour flu thing.
She's
fine now. She's fine now.
But going to school, that's what it does to you.
Yeah.
Well, we can go on to a Bavarian town that accidentally ordered a 12-year supply of toilet paper has officially wiped that out.
That's a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah, right? The mayor of Fuchstal, a small German town of around 4,000 people near Munich, says the last roll has now been used up. The toilet roll tale started in 2006 when a council employee mistakenly ordered 2 massive truckloads of the paper product. When the first vehicle rolled into town, authorities realized their mistake and were able to successfully cancel the second truck. However, they were still stuck with roll upon roll on the first truck. Trying to stash that much toilet paper was another headache. Mayor Erwin Card told local media that he assembled a 4-person team to find places to tuck the toilet paper around town. In primary schools, the secondary school, with us in town hall, toilet paper was hidden in the storage rooms everywhere, he said, including the firehouse. So just how much toilet paper was there? Well, not as much as one would think. Part of the reason why it took the town more than a decade to use the toilet paper was because of the condition of the paper itself. Residents complained the gray-colored one-ply was too flimsy, turned brittle, and yellow under exposure to sunlight. Some workers refused outright to use it and opted to bring their own toilet paper from home. The silver lining in the fiasco is that the botched order saved the city money because the price of wood rose the following year. We were able to save up over $1,130 because the price of wood went up the next year, which also made toilet paper more expensive.
That was kind of a happy accident.
Accident. Gotcha.
and you'd think that this wouldn't happen a whole lot. But in related news, officials in Alabama County have a financial mess to wipe up after the sheriff's department mistakenly ordered 24,000 extra rolls of toilet paper.
Wow.
Marshall County Sheriff's Office mistakenly spent $22,000 on toilet paper and another $9,000 for 450 cases of trash bags. That's a big problem because its entire budget for janitorial supplies for the next year is only $15,000.
Ouch.
County commissioners have negotiated a bill of more than $30,000 down by about half. But there's another problem: storing an extra 2 years worth of toilet paper. This is 2 years worth of toilet paper.
Oh, wow.
While the sheriff's department isn't commenting, Commission Chairman James Hutchinson says workers realized the mistake when a notice came from the vendor. The newly elected sheriff, named Phil Sims, not to be confused with the football player, says that he will work with commissioners to address the problem.
That is a lot of poop.
Now, we're not in Bavaria. This is the United States of America.
Yes.
There's probably ways to disseminate that toilet paper. Share it with the school districts or some of the county buildings, or,
Oh, yeah.
to offset the cost of that.
As long as not one ply.
Right. I mean, it's just like, hey, here have we'll sell this toilet paper to the schools at cost. Here have 50 cases or whatever. I don't know what the typical. I mean, really, there is someone out there who can run the metrics on the employee population.
Yes.
And how much toilet paper. How many times do you crap a day? Now that everyone's got smartphones, they take them to the toilet with them, and a normal 5-minute break turns into a 20-minute break or longer.
Wow. I looking at those stories, you just sit there going, how can you make, I mean, that is a major error.
It is, but I've done purchasing before. I've run purchasing departments, and it's yes, it can be done, but it's easy to avoid.
Yes.
You're paying attention to what you're doing.
And that's the $1 million thought is paying attention.
Paying attention. And these are above minimum wage jobs. in the purchasing department. You have a very large purse to work out of. And it's just, I mean, it's when you're looking at, okay, I want 10 quantity of 10 reams of paper, or do you want entire boxes of paper, which has 10 or 12 reams in it?
Yeah.
You end up with a shit ton of paper, or a gross of something as opposed to a dozen of something.
Yes.
So the unit of issue is very, very important. Do we have any supply folks here? Anybody working supply make that mistake? It's not like it can't happen. It's just it's easy. It's easy enough to avoid.
Yes, it is. There's more fecal matter on your smartphone than the toilet seat.
Right. Yes, there is, and we did a story on towels, bathroom towels, and the hot air dispensers.
Yes.
Blowing out poop particles.
We talk about everything.
We do. We cover everything. You're not going to see this shit on CNN.
Literally.
and here's another story you're probably not going to see on CNN.
You're right.
Especially, you're not going to see this graphic that I have on CNN.
Heavy metal is most commonly associated with headbanging and mosh pits. According to a new study, however, metal and all forms of extreme music can positively influence the listener, inspiring calmness rather than anger. A study by the University of Queensland, the Australian Public Research Institute in Brisbane, revealed that rather than proving the hypothesis that extreme music causes anger, the theory that extreme music matches and helps to process anger was supported instead. Focusing on heavy metal, emo, hardcore punk, screamo, and the various other subgenres featured in the category of extreme music, honors student Leigh Sharman and Dr. Genevieve Dingle studied 39 regular listeners of extreme music between the ages of 18 and 34. We found the music regulated sadness and enhanced positive emotion, Sharman said. When experiencing anger, extreme music fans like to listen to music that could match their anger. The music helped them explore the full gamut of emotion they felt, but also left them feeling more active and inspired, reads the study. Results showed levels of hostility, irritability, and stress decreased after music was introduced. And the most significant change reported was the level of inspiration they felt. A secondary aim for the study was to see what music participants would select from their playlist, Sharman said. It was interesting that half of the chosen songs contained themes of anger or aggression, with the remainder containing themes such as isolation and sadness. Yet participants reported they used music to enhance their happiness, immerse themselves in feelings of love, and enhance their well-being.
I don't know, man. I think if you're a metalhead, you don't want to listen to Yanni to relax.
No.
And if you like to listen to that easy listening music, you're not going to want to listen to Cannibal Corpse to calm down.
So true. I mean, the differences in all the music that are out there, there's a reason there's such a range, because every ear, music is expression. Music brings out emotion. And sometimes you need, music actually like they say, it actually helps you bring out what you're feeling so you can deal with it.
And some people, I'm not included in this. I mean, they're just, music doesn't do it for them. I'm more, I like bluesy rock. I like heavy metal. I don't get into the screaming, the screaming and the growling and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I find that a good Metallica or something like that would be more comforting to me than listening to like meditation type music or a brook running in the background or rain falling or thunderstorms or surf crashing. That wouldn't be relaxing to me. But I can put in the Metallica Black Album and I'll feel like $1 million afterwards.
And now you can understand a little bit of a reason why. It's music is always depending on the person.
Oh, definitely.
Some people, like, I can't listen to heavy metal. It's not where I go. But there's some music that I do listen to that does the same thing as it would for you.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's got a different effect on everybody. Everybody's different.
Exactly.
It's like,
I noticed. Go ahead.
You noticed what?
I said I noticed we have a poll up.
Oh, yeah, another one. The largest St. Patrick's Day parade is in New York City. Where is the smallest parade held? Finfion, Manitoba, Canada, Wellingham, England, Hot Springs, Arkansas, or La Plata, Argentina?
But going back to what you were saying, music is definitely it has to be the person. When I listen to music, what makes me happy, I go back to 80s stuff. I mean, you put me in and listen to Queen, 38 Special, stuff like that, and I'm happy.
that is to me, and everything is subjective, but I enjoy that. I definitely enjoy that. But the thing is, now I'm just taking a walk.
Yeah,
kind of gets my mind off things when I'm working at work. When I'm given a task, and it's a stationary task, and I've got to do things, build a circuit board or whatever, or design something in front of me. I'm telling you, I'm like, okay, boss, I'm going to tune out here for a little bit and take care of this. Okay, if I need you, I'll tap you on the shoulder, but I'll put my earbuds in, and I turn on my playlist, and it goes on random. Set the phone off to the side, and I am in my own world. I don't use music to calm down. I just use it to make my brain focus on what I'm focusing on, but then I've got a distraction in the background. It's like having background, you have the TV on it and when you're doing housework or something, just for background noise.
And that a lot of people actually do that. I actually do that when I'm doing my cardio. I put on my my earbuds and kind of tune out the world and just let my mind go.
Then you don't pay attention to how far you're running or doing whatever. You just nope. Do it.
Exactly. The idea is to allow yourself to just go with it and allow your body to do what it needs to do. So, no, I mean, it's a good study and it's good results. So, not a bad research.
I don't think it's bad research. I think it could go further.
Oh, much.
And I think you would see a metalhead being forced to listen to Madonna. Or One Direction or something like that,
Vogue.
Or what the hell is that? Rick Astley.
Oh. Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
Right. So, back to some Texas news here.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, you'd think that things weren't that competitive in the fishing, the professional fishing world, but apparently it is. The fisherman in Texas has been indicted by a grand jury after allegedly trimming a bass's tail to meet weigh-in requirements in the Big Bass Splash fishing tournament at Lake Fork, which is just for geographical reference, it's about an hour or so east of Dallas. Terry Keith Long allegedly altered the animal to meet fishing regulations at a lake east of Dallas, which allows fishermen to keep only largemouth bass 16 inches and smaller, or those that are 24 inches and longer. So anything between 16 and 24 they couldn't keep.
Okay.
Long was later charged with fraud at a freshwater fishing tournament, which is a third-degree felony in Texas.
You take your fishing seriously.
I'm serious, man. Damn it. Damn felony. He was arrested, and he then posted bond, which was $25,000. Long was disqualified from the tournament due to his actions.
I see you've got other third-degree felonies up there.
I do. I had to. I'm like, okay, third-degree felony for altering a fish during a bass fishing tournament.
Mm-hmm.
What are some examples of other third-degree felonies? So I got on the Google Meister, and I Googled Texas and third-degree felonies. The first page I came to was a bunch of freaking lawyers that were just telling me what a third-degree felony was.
Okay.
It took a little digging to find out examples of what a third-degree felony is. And let me see, where's my list? Here's my list. Possessing 5 to 50 pounds of marijuana is a third-degree felony in the state of Texas.
Oh, jeez.
Assault and battery is a third-degree felony. Elder abuse is a third-degree felony. Transmission of pornography is a third-degree felony. Getting a DUI is a third-degree felony here in the state of Texas. Fraud and arson are both third-degree felonies. Those there's the list is very long.
And you rate what that guy did with fish as a third degree. Boy, you really take your fishing seriously.
That fish must have been right on the hairy edge of being legal. We got to figure it's got to be 16 inches, unless it was a big, massive bass. It was probably, I'm thinking it was on the 16-inch side, just a little bit over 16 inches. So he trimmed a little bit off the tail,
so that he could make it under 16.
Yeah, I wonder if he just did a horrible job.
Jeez. Well, and the sad part is that not to be to downgrade or to put down Texas, but to make it that hard of a felony.
Well, I understand that it's tournaments. It doesn't matter, sporting tournaments. Fishing arguably is a sport.
Yes.
But there's, and even Kamo said so in the mixer chat. He said, there's these fishermen idiots out there that have, boats that are worth, $250,000.
Oh yeah. Equipment. Excuse me. All the sonars that they get, the fishing equipment alone, some of the reels and rods are highly expensive.
But I mean, when there's $50,000 on the line, yeah, you'll, it seems like it would be, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying type things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how prevalent cheating is.
You do have to wonder that.
I go fishing for fun, man.
I don't mind fishing. My wife likes to eat the fish, so I don't mind fishing.
The only fish I did join when I was at Fort Campbell, you can get a day off, and that you can get a day off for it was a BOSS program, Better Opportunities for Single Soldiers, and you can have a day off. This particular day, it was a Friday, to go and enter this bass tournament at one of the lakes. So sure. I grabbed my reel. I grabbed my reel and my rod, and two guys. We fished out of a boat. We didn't catch anything. I think we were fishing for bass, and we ended up catching perch and some sunfish, and that was it. But hey, it was a day off, and we went fishing.
Yeah, well, and that's good. I mean, fishing can be relaxing. Just being able to sit there and be calm.
Being in Tennessee, when I was at Fort Campbell, we did go out and do a lot of fishing. Knocking on a door saying, "Hey, man, do you mind if we fish off of your property?" Because you don't want to get shot. so you talk to the landowner. "Hey, man, do you mind if I fish in your pond?" Maybe 50% of the time it was a yes.
Huh. Well, see, out here, they've got the military resort, and clearly, and they actually stock it yearly. So, not a bad deal.
Yeah, I'm more of a catch and release. I grew up on Lake Michigan, so I fished a lot when I was a kid. I would come home from school, and I'd go fishing until it got dark, and then I'd go home. I'd go into the backyard. I'd have a couple of salmon with me or some trout.
Yeah.
Gut them in the backyard, bury the guts in the garden, and stick the fish, one of the fish in the freezer, and then my mom would make the other fish for dinner the next night. It was great, man. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun.
Well, and my wife loves fishing too. Shoot, for one of a couple years ago, for one of our anniversaries, actually took her out and paid for a charter to go out on the ocean salmon fishing. That's
the way you do it, man. They have, we have at work we have a lot of discount programs. They have car buying programs and cell phone programs and blah 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 blah. Well, they have a discount program with some of the charter fishing boats down in the Gulf of Mexico. They go out and they primarily catch like redfish or something. And these are big ass fish. 6 or 8 hours, and then you come back. And they clean your fish for you.
Yeah,
it's great.
Oh yeah, we caught our limit within the first. My wife actually was the first one to catch her limit. I was the third. And we had was it 12 people on there?
Wow. That's a big boat, man.
Oh yeah, it was really nice. And went out in the early morning, came back by about 1, 2 o'clock, and it was fun. I'll give it that. It was fun. We caught our limit, and shoot, she didn't even eat all of it. I mean, because it was like 30 some pounds.
Wow, dude, stick that in the freezer.
Oh yeah, well we did, but you get after a while she kind of got tired of it because I'm not I don't eat fish.
Oh, I get it. We had a couple of engineers that they chartered a flight because it was cheaper than buying an airplane ticket and flying from Dallas to Little Rock. They chartered a private plane, and it ended up being like $40 or $50 a person. And there were four or five of them. They went and got an Airbnb in Arkansas, and they went trout fishing in one of the rivers up there. It's one of the best, according to them, it's rated one of the best trout fishing streams in the United States.
Wow!
And they went and did it for, their flight, their round trip flight was like $40-$50. Another probably $100 each for the cabin that they stayed in, and they got a bunch of fish.
Jeez.
That's a good deal right there, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's one thing about millennials, man. They're pretty resourceful when it comes to getting stuff done that they want to do.
Oh yes.
So.
Well, speaking of different and Texas.
Hey, I got another. Maybe I ought to publish that result.
Yeah, you probably should publish results first.
Yeah, because I want to get to the last one. Oh, I had another one that had you involved in it, but I got rid of that polling question because it would have put me at an odd number, and I don't like to end it on an odd number when I'm trying to split the show, since our show is in two halves. So the largest St. Patrick's Day parade is in New York City. Where is the largest parade held? Your choices were Flin Flon, Manitoba, Canada, Wellingham, England. I don't know if there's a town called Wellingham, England, because I made it up. Hot Springs, Arkansas, or La Plata, Argentina. And the correct answer is Hot Springs, Arkansas.
You mean the smallest parade?
The smallest parade. The smallest parade is in Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's oh gosh, where's my notepad here? It is. There it is. It used to be in Dripsey, which is an Irish village. Used to have the smallest parade. And it was 26 yards between two pubs. Now, Hot Springs, Arkansas claims the title for brevity. This brief parade runs approximately 98 feet.
Jeez.
Isn't that great?
things that people will do just to get noticed, right?
Did you know that St. Patrick's Day, the color hasn't always been green?
What was it before?
Blue. Blue was
Really?
the color originally associated with St. Patrick, but green is now the favored color.
So do you know how it got changed, or did that ever show up?
It just changed.
Okay.
The first St. Patrick's Day parade in the American colonies was held in New York City on St. Patrick's Day in 1762.
About the time you were hitting college.
St. Patrick's Day is a traditional day for planting peas.
Interesting.
I did not know that.
No.
Cabbage seeds are often planted today. The old-time farmers believed that to make them grow well, you need to plant them while wearing your night clothes.
Okay.
I'm full of just random ass
Trivia. You're our trivia guy.
I guess I am. I will wear that badge very proudly.
Yes, you do. Well, I have something for Texas.
Hell yeah.
A shocked traveler on a Texas highway captured video of a horse riding in the back of a pickup truck with the tailgate down. A woman said she was taking her 12-year-old daughter to gymnastics meet when they captured the unusual video in Corrigan, Texas, just north of Houston. The video shows the horse riding the back of the pickup with someone in the cab apparently holding the animal's reins through the rear window. She said the truck eventually pulled into Whataburger parking lot, and the driver was spotted talking to a Texas Department of public safety trooper. Police said the driver was found not to be violating any laws and was not cited.
That surprised me a lot.
Yeah. Jeez. You would think that there would be something, but maybe it's because they had the reins.
Well, it's not that. For the longest time in Texas, when I was at Fort Hood, there was no. There's obviously laws for drunk while driving, DWI, or driving while intoxicated, but there was nothing specifically on the books that said that you could not drive with an open container.
Huh.
So you could drive with an open beer in your car.
Jeez.
You can't do that anymore.
No.
But I'm thinking maybe it's the same thing with this horse. There's nothing on the books that says you can't transport a horse in an open bed of a pickup truck.
And that's just it. There are some laws. You look at all the really interesting little laws that are out there, and then you think there are some laws that just should be on the books that aren't because they're common sense. And you would think that, that person who has that horse, they would at least put the tailgate up. Because, the horse can easily jump it, but putting it there means that the horse knows there's a boundary.
Definitely.
Did you see a horse all of a sudden decide, oh, you know what? I want to leave.
Here's my stop.
Starts backing up. What's that person who's holding on those reins really going to do?
I'm telling you, man, if that horse wanted to get out, that horse is going wherever he wants
exactly. Jeez. Oh, that's Texas for you.
I love Texas, man.
I know you do.
I think everybody should experience Texas, and don't base the entire state of Texas on Fort Hood or Fort Bliss. Don't do that, or San Antonio, or wherever we have not thousands, but we have many bases.
Yes, you do. And you have another poll up.
I do have another poll up. This is the last one. How many tons of dye does it take to turn the Chicago River green for St. Patrick's Day? 2 tons, 70 tons, 40 tons, or 16 tons?
I'm surprised eco warriors haven't tried to stop this.
I think they have, but it's they use good stuff. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I can't even make up a smart-ass answer for that. I think the most smart-ass answer that I have is, well, the it's already green. They're just making it a different color green. But the Chicago River
just had
comes.
a bunch of leprechauns sit around and piss.
I went to St. John's Military Academy when I was a youngin'. I was high school, but we went and we marched in the St. Patrick's Day parade for the 3 years that I was there in Chicago. They bussed us down there, stuck us in a hotel, and we got to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade in Chicago, which was fantastic. It was really awesome, really good experience. But I remember seeing the Green River. They've been dyeing that river green since the 60s.
Jeez.
So I don't think that's a tradition that's going to fall by the wayside anytime soon.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Jeez. Things people do.
So last story. You guys have probably seen this in the news. I thought it was pretty awesome. So I'm gonna play this video. So a paraglider got quite a jolt when he landed in Canberra, Australia last week. Jonathan Bishop, who had just made a perfect landing when he was punched by a charging kangaroo. Bishop filmed this event on his helmet cam. He's been paragliding across country paragliding across the country for about 2 hours when he opted to take a break. In a description in the video, Bishop wrote that he was near the Auroral Space Tracking Station, an old NASA station in Australia that supported Earth-orbiting satellites for the nation's spacecraft tracking and data acquisitioning network. Bishop had decided a nearby concrete slab near the station was the best place to land. In the last cleared valley it was the last cleared valley that I could safely land in. Over the next ridge, there was only wilderness and trees. In the short 38-second video, Bishop's shadow shows the paraglider landing gracefully on his feet, but the camera turned, and 2 kangaroos were seen rapidly hopping in his direction. And he says, "What's up, Skip?" he called out in the video, just as the first kangaroo charged him. Bishop then changed his tune, and he shouted for the marsupial to leave him alone. After 2 punches, the kangaroos retreated. I was concentrating on the landing, and I didn't even notice the kangaroo until after I landed, Bishop wrote. As it ran toward me, I thought, oh, he's being friendly, so I said, "What's up, Skip?" And then he hit me twice before hopping away. After the attack, Bishop wrote that he had packed up his paraglider. Unfortunately, he had to walk several kilometers before he was able to get cell phone reception, so he could call a friend to pick him up.
Jeez. I've heard that actually kangaroos can be very aggressive.
Dude, look at I've got that a freeze frame there.
Yeah.
Look at the claws on that dude, man.
Oh, yeah. They can be very aggressive, and they can hurt you.
And they'll I've seen videos of them like getting a hold of dogs. Guys are out walking with their dogs, and the kangaroo will get a hold of their dog. There was one. There was one last year of a guy that walked up to save his dog and ended up punching the damn kangaroo in the face. I mean, he hit him hard.
Well, they're like any animal, especially if they're wild. They do what they do. You don't necessarily know why the reason they're doing it. If they feel like you're in their territory, they're going to go after you.
Yeah. I mean, at least he wasn't paragliding in Africa. And then here comes a rhinoceros or a lion.
Oh.
Dude, that would suck.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad things ended well. That doesn't really look like a full-grown kangaroo either. He's just...
No. And luckily it was just, 2 hits, nothing that, no broken nose, no broken bones.
He's probably trying to impress his girlfriend or something in there in the background.
Well, they both were coming at him pretty quick.
They were. I think if he didn't, I don't know if he could have done anything or.
At that point, he was still trying to maneuver with that that paraglide.
Yeah. I mean, he was going to get touched one way or another, but.
He was lucky.
That about wraps up our show. We've got a couple of awesome guests coming this week. Tomorrow night, Captain Doug Meyer, and I do have a graphic for this. I had it last night and I forgot about it until like minutes. Maybe what I have, 2 minutes or 4 minutes?
About 4 minutes.
4 minutes. I can do something really, really. This is not professional. This is not professional, but it's a really badass graphic because it's a badass guest. I'm going to resize this guy. Whoop. Gotta change him over there, and he's down and up, and there he is, and we're getting close. Okay, Captain Doug Meyer is coming, and there you go. There we go. Let's kind of make that go this way and that way, and there you see it. I'm seeing it change on the screen. This is really embarrassing. I promise you this will probably happen again. So Captain Doug Meyer is an active duty U.S. Army infantry officer and a 2009 graduate of Norwich University. He is the creator and curator of The Company Leader, an online professional forum dedicated to developing leaders at the tactical level of war. And then on Thursday, for Sergeant's Time, Luis Fernandez from CONUS Battle Drills is going to be back on the show. Mr. Fernandez will be back on the show to tell us what he's been up to since the last time he was on the show about a year ago. He created CONUS Battle Drills to help everyday veterans that are getting out of the military and facing a world that they don't understand and that doesn't understand them. They're faced with challenges that they're completely unprepared for. Writing a resume, preparing for interviews, picking companies, translating your skills for a soft world are all the things that they were not trained in. CONUS Battle Drills is written by a combat veteran for combat veterans to help each other grow in the areas of corporate employment, fatherhood, being a husband, and taking care of their mental state.
Sounds like a good lineup.
And it is a good lineup, and I guess what I forgot to do?
Oh, I could think of several things.
Dude, I know, right? Oh, here we go. I did. I just kind of went out of order there for Captain Doug Meyer's graphic. I didn't have one for CONUS Battle Drills. Probably could have dug up an old one.
Yeah.
But now it's time for Joke Time with Kaz. This is like the coolest part of the show that we get to, I get to tell a joke. And to me, these are funny. To you, they may not be funny. The CIA, the FBI, and the KGB argue about who's the best at catching criminals. The Secretary General of the UN decides to test them. So he releases a rabbit into the woods, and each of the agencies has to catch it. The CIA goes first. They place animal informants throughout the forest. They question all plant and mineral witnesses. After 3 months of extensive investigations, they conclude that rabbits do not exist. The FBI goes next. After 2 weeks with no leads, they burn the forest to the ground, killing everything in it, including the rabbit. They make no apologies because the rabbit had it coming. The KGB goes last. They come out a few hours later with a badly beaten bear. And the bear could be heard screaming, "Okay, okay, I'm a rabbit, I'm a rabbit."
I love it.
Hey, let's talk for a second about what were you going to say?
I was going to say, don't forget about your poll.
Oh my gosh, I do have a poll. How many tons of dye does it take to dye the Chicago River green for St. Patrick's Day? The correct answer is 40 tons.
That's a lot of dye.
That is a lot of dye. I was thinking maybe a ton or two. But yeah, 40 tons. And they dump it in there, and then they just like run boats in there just to churn it up and mix it in.
Someone has to pay for that.
Oh, the city of Chicago, since they have so much money and no one's pension is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about War Horses for Veterans. They're a 3-day equine therapy program in Stillwell, Kansas. The program is free to all combat veterans. I say again, the program is free to all combat veterans. This includes airfare, lodging, and meals, and transportation. Your transportation is taken care of, too, as soon as you land. So go to facebook.com/War Horses for Veterans to learn more. I did see a post on Facebook. War Horses is gearing up to start bringing people in. I think they're going to start in April. I don't know that for sure, but I think I remember seeing the month of April. So get your squad together, get some guys in your platoon together, or your company, or some of your battle buddies, and go hit up War Horses for Veterans. It's a short application process. It's really fairly painless. They just want to verify your status. I mean, they're doing a little bit of due diligence,
making sure you are who you say you are.
Exactly. So I've done our upcoming shows. We got shows 5 days a week. Monday is the Monday edition with Ice, and I think Flash is back.
Really?
He was out on mission, and now he's back.
Very good.
Safely tucked away on the eastern seaboard. So he may be calling tomorrow. I'm not sure. Tuesday, we have Tied Up Tuesday. Minx is back. It's awesome. If you guys kind of gave up on Minx, she's been back, and she's been having some really, really great shows.
Yes, she has.
So her and Radar. Radar is the new guy, and he seems to be fallen in very, very well. Radar is awesome on the radio. I really like listening to him. Wednesday is our Donza day, because Spanky doesn't like that word. And Thursday's Sergeant's Time. Everything military. Sometimes it's kind of funny because when you listen to Ice's show, he has two shows. He has a show on Monday and he has a show on Thursday. Monday is usually a current events show that eventually they start talking about Army. And then Thursday's show is called Sergeant's Time. So he talks about everything Army or military related, and it usually turns political at one point or another. They dive into that political pond. It's not a political show by any stretch of the imagination, but
no.
Saturday, Tinfoil Times is still with us. They're on break right now, so when they come back, you can catch them, of course, on Saturday evenings, and then Sundays you're back with us, me and Owl, for Kicking It with Kaz. I don't have a parting thought, so I'm going to let you handle this one.
Okay. Well, spring is coming, and everybody's thoughts are starting to turn towards
yard work,
towards the rest of the year. But always remember, keep your feet on the ground. Keep what's in front of you. Keep it in your sights, and keep your goals where they need to be. Don't go so far ahead that you forget to enjoy what you are and what you have.
Dude, I can overthink just about anything. And I don't know when my paradigm shift happened. I think it happened after I got back from Iraq.
Yeah.
Things that seemed important before, things that I stressed out over it was kind of stupid. And yeah. It's really almost like I changed overnight. I came back to the States, and things I can't say I don't speed, but I leave for work at a certain time. If I make it to work, on time, great. If I'm a couple minutes late, that's fine too. Things that were just stressors in my life. Work was always a stressor. I take my job very seriously. I love my job.
Yes. I
want to be the guy that they want to hang on to when the layoffs come.
Yeah.
I want to be able to provide for my family and give them the things that they deserve.
Of course.
I have just kind of realigned. I don't even know how I rearranged it, but it's just the things that used to piss me off and to get under my skin don't anymore. They just don't. They stopped. I don't think it was something that I did purposefully. It stopped.
It's something. It's not only going being stationed somewhere where life is critical and time could possibly be very short, but it's also the fact that with that comes wisdom, and so does time and age. I hear that a lot with people coming back, and sometimes you even have to remind soldiers who've been overseas and been in the war zones. You say, if you look at what you've been and look at what you had to stress over. Now, life just, certain things just don't matter anymore or shouldn't be as stressful anymore. Sometimes, though, the unfortunate part is coming back can actually be more stressful because more things are demanded of you. So it can go either way, quite honestly. With you, it became less stressful because you realized what was important.
It's amazing. I love it. And I had to question. I'm like, wow, do I just not care anymore? Like, no, I care differently. There's
Exactly.
It's just things that are, it is what it is. I hate that saying.
But
it
it's
is
true.
It is what it is. There are things that you just have no control over. It doesn't matter if you make decision A, B, or C. It's not going to change this.
No. And that's something that I stress a lot with people. Pick your battles. There's some things you can change, and then you recognize those. There's some things you just have to realize are not within the ability for you to change, so therefore accept. Because it's one less thing that has to be on your mind.
Yeah, and there's, and I used to be wrapped up in politics, very, very wrapped up into politics. And I
Yes.
started getting, I really started tuning out. I started tuning out probably the second term of President Obama.
Yeah.
And not being so involved and having to know what's going on at any given point. I was listening to talk radio all day long and hopping channels and going from this show to that show to another show. And it was an all-day thing. I really fell off the bus after President Trump got elected. I think that was it. That's when I turned off the TV. I seriously, I canceled my premium channels on cable because I don't want to watch. I used to just consume news all the time, and I don't anymore.
That's very typical. And
Which is crazy because I do a show and we talk about current events.
we do a show, but we keep away from the political stuff.
One thing that's been stressing me out is
What is
on Twitter. You can find us on Twitter, WTF Nation Radio, and you can catch the main page. We're all on Twitter. Everybody's on Twitter.
Yes.
But I started following the genius congresswoman from the 14th District of New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, just to see what kind of stupid shit she's going to talk about. And I get so frustrated at her lack of understanding, it's really frustrating. But then every once in a while, there's that little golden nugget of idiocy that comes out of her little thumbs when she's making her tweets. And I'm like, okay, that's worth it. I'm not gonna not follow her, because every once in a while you find something that's just, oh my gosh. And then I get frustrated all over again because people are like, yeah, you're right. This is great. We need to stick it to the rich guy. Anyway, I'm not going to get into politics because I want to go to bed here pretty soon.
Yes, you are.
Because I'm an old guy, and that's how we do. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Al, thank you. Thanks for being here, Al. I do appreciate you. I appreciate all of our listeners, man. You guys make this all worthwhile. And there'll be like a Saturday night. I'm like, God damn it, I really don't feel like doing a show. And it's a lot of work to throw together a show. I'm like, man, I don't wanna. I need a break. And then I do the work and I put together a show and I do the show, and 2 hours later I'm like, that wasn't bad. I'm glad I did that.
No, it's not bad, and it is worth it because we know that there's some people out there that can appreciate where we're coming from.
Right on. All right, man. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night for the Monday edition and our special guest, Captain Doug Meyer. Everybody have a good night and a great week.
Keep life simple.
Here's a shot out of a cannon. Oprah, Barbara Walters, your wife. You gotta fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go.
I think we're done here. Thank you.
Disney.
Radio. WTF Nation Radio.